Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're here live with the syndicated radio broadcast in this very time slot since 1997, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. We then return weeknights, 7 o'clock Central, for InfoWars Nightly News at prisonplanet.tv. with the entire InfoWars crew and family. There's a new poll out we'll be getting into some out of Gallup. Trust in mass media at all-time low. 1 billion websites and counting. Yahoo News is now reporting. Police are now using drones to photograph car wrecks. That's just some of the type of news that's up on drudgereport.com. Up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com, dozens of children dead after UN gives tainted vaccine in rebel-held Syria. U.S. and Saudi-backed mercenaries blame Assad fantastically. Kurt Nemo wrote that story, and the story links to the London Telegraph and to the World Health Organization. Dozens of children feared dead after being injected with tainted measles vaccine in Syria. We're going to go over the horrible deaths, writhing in pain right after getting the vaccines that resembled what cyanide does. And what's amazing is it's admitted to be a UN program. It's admitted to be in rebel-held areas, but then the rebels blame Assad. Kind of like there's video of them going, holla, 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 last year, 15 months ago, and launching chemical attacks on multiple sites inside Syria, waving al-Qaeda flags. And then our news media would say, oh, Assad did it. And then even the UN tested the chemicals and said, no, it's Saudi Arabian. I mean, it's pretty obvious when Obama goes 2 years ago, if we see anyone launch chemical weapons, rebels or Assad, we're going to bomb Assad and blame him. That's our red line. In fact, it was on the anniversary, so it was 2.5 years ago, the anniversary of Obama's red line statement and speech that the rebels launched the chemical attack. The first one of 3. Remember all this? Early part of 2013? And then Obama came out in March, a year later, and said the red line has been crossed. The globalists are such gangsters, it's so obvious. If any chemical weapons get used, we're going to blame Assad. A year later, al-Qaeda launches the attack against Assad and against the army, and then blames them. And then now, in the London Telegraph, in Der Spiegel, in the World Health Organization's own statement, it's a UN program in the north, in an area seized by the, quote, good rebels. I am not a bad witch. I am a Glinda, the good witch, to quote the Lollipop Guild speech in Wizard of Oz. It's like we're going to arm the rebels to fight the rebels. It's all oxymorons. It's all up is down, down is up, black is white, 2 + 2 = whatever they say. It is just so crazy. But then there's the whole discussion of why in Pakistan, why in Libya, why all over Africa? 50 years ago, the natives would beg for the white medicine man's medicine. Now they run because they give them shots and the whole village gets HIV, or they give them shots and the whole village is sterilized, or they give them the polio vaccine and half the kids in the town become paralyzed and a bunch of them die. I mean, I see this in the press all the time, and it's almost like it's a conditioning or a psychological inoculation, titrating the poison of tyranny, where now I see articles about them vaccinating people and it's not, and them dying, and it's not even a news issue anymore. I am being conditioned to accept it. Oh, I saw on a local newscast an 11-year-old girl, a cheerleader, it's always a cheerleader for some reason, took the shot because mommy didn't want her to ever get cancer again, even though it doesn't protect you from cancer. Even the papillomavirus, it says on the insert, oh, there's thousands of strains. This only covers 4 to 8 or whatever it says. There's different variants of it. and it doesn't protect you and might give you Guillain-Barré or irritable bowel syndrome or autoimmune or might kill you. And now I see those articles every few days where somebody new dies from it. India, Japan banned it years ago. It was introduced there 8 years ago, like here. But not in America. All over the world, GMOs are being pulled off the shelves. All over the world, glyphosate is being banned or restricted. Look at this article. Nestle removes GMO ingredients from baby foods in South Africa, but not in the USA. Company actively ignores request of U.S. consumers. Another great article by Christina Sarich for Infowars.com from Natural Society. You see, we are the dumping ground for everything. Here's the Globe and Mail. U.S. lawmakers want to curb antibiotic use on farms. Oh, I thought it was a conspiracy theory that we were getting superbugs from feeding antibiotics before animals are even sick across the board so they can live in horrible conditions. And then we eat the antibiotics, and then it makes us fat and bloated and screws up our guts and destroys our immune system. That's a fact. And now it's mainstream news. Oh, here's another one. Doctors and nurses, you are the vaccine fraud tipping point. Do not be intimidated into staying silent by your hospital directors and managers. And it's an excellent report, video report, detailing how that's the next level of rebellion. Just like in the Army with the smallpox and anthrax shots, they were the ones that ended up getting those shots stopped that were, by the way, illegal. You can't make troops take experimental shots. You can order them to take vaccines that are, quote, seen as approved for general use and not experimental. The military is the only group you can make take vaccines because you sign those forms and waive your rights. And I think that's wrong and should be changed. But they have been caught giving troops experimental drugs, experimental vaccines that kill them over and over again. And it was the military doctors that rebelled time and time again and stopped it. And now they want to test experimental Ebola vaccine on humans, made from the chimpanzee virus. Sky News reports, and guess who you know they're going to be testing it on the troops. And then when they get sick, telling them just go in a hole and die. So that's why I mentioned that up front today with all the news we've got. It's really starting to come out how bad GMO is, how bad glyphosate is, how bad fluoride is. And we're seeing more and more mainstream news forced to admit it because medical doctors and scientists are going public. Speaking of that, CBS News today. Are cell phones really giving us cancer? And it goes on to say, doctors say keep cell phones on airplane mode while in pocket to lower cancer risk. Elementary school children should not have more than 3 hours a week around wireless. Yes, it is a microwave transmission system that for decades they've known increases cancers. I've talked to medical doctors, brain surgeons, who say it is epidemic brain tumors on the side of the head where you use the cell phone. And everyone I know and my friends and family, I buy them hands-free. I buy them, because then it's just like a radio connection, basically. I buy them wires that have been shown to at least not radiate right up against your head, because for the length of the microwave antenna, it lessens by half every movement out from its measurement. So if a cell phone's 3 feet away from you, it is literally hundreds of times weaker. Still not good for you, and we're bathed in this background radiation. But in all the major studies, you can look them up, we've covered them. When you put a cell phone right up against tissue, it vibrates the DNA chains till they break. Then they start mutating, then you get cancer. It ages you. And for the life of me, I cannot stop my father from walking around on the cell phone all day with it up against his head. He will not use wires. He will not use hands-free because it's a habit. It's easy. He's committed. I know parents with their children just give them cell phones all day. And people will divorce over it and say, my kids are going to have cell phones. That's the end of it. We're going to have wireless. You know, we're going to be bathed in this because, you know, it's invisible. I don't see it. You're making it up. Cell phones really giving us cancer. Chris Moore spoke with Dr. Deborah Davis about the dangers of cell phone radiation. Dr. Davis is the author of The Secret History of the War on Cancer. and disconnect the truth about cell phone radiation. I'm going to get that doctor on. And then they go through and break down the fact that wherever it's just like radar guns, they learned were giving the police officers testicular cancer. Because, you know, where do you stick a radar gun when you're sitting there on a motorcycle or in a squad car? You don't stick it back in the holster. You stick it between your legs. That's where it fits. And you pull it up and fire it. Well, even when they're not firing all the time, beaming out that energy, it's cycling and they're ready to shoot, putting it off into your genitalia. Just like they said, oh, DU's not bad for you, even though I've had the head of the DU program on, saying the issue is you inhale it and then at point-blank range, it sits there up against the DNA, mutating it. Not to mention it's highly toxic. And now we know bladder cancer, testicular cancer, kidney cancer in troops is just off the charts. 17-fold increase in birth defects in Fallujah alone, and our troops have a 4-fold increase. They know, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm just here warning you, we have an elite that has deployed all this technology knowing what it does. Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at InfoWarsLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our immune support infusion blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfoWarsLife.com.
Hey, now you can watch the Alex Jones Show live as it happens at Infowars.com/show.